When I have time, I shuffle cards, I pull runes, whatever the case may need to talk to the spirit room. And today's oracle card, as you can see, it's right there. It's called Arnica. I asked the spirit room, what does humanity need to help in health? And this is the card that came up, Arnica, recovery. All forlorn, extremely bruised, so sore, in pain, and feeling used. Give yourself some time to rest. My remedy restores your zest. The magic is worked with harm to none. So mote it be. There it is done. Now basically, known as the fall herb, people made salves from arnica after observing injured mountain goats eating the wildflowers. It has likely been used as a medical plant ever since the Middle Ages. So if you want to look for something natural, look for arnica. Greetings and welcome to One Sparkle Up, Spirituality in a Modern World. Presented by Unispiritual Muse, LLC. In today's sermon session, because people love dogma norm, you have to have your beginning, your middle, and your end of your paragraph, your page, whatever it is, and the blueprint schematics that a person is presenting themselves through promoting, advertising, marketing their self as a business person. Yeah, the blueprint schematics of dogma norm. And for me, you've already bored me in 2 seconds. Throw that garbage in the trash. Alright? Because dogma norm, excuse me, has no room for creativity. Dogma norm is the blueprint schematics of what we call OW. Okay? Artificial intelligence, to me, is a bunch of crapola, and I have a much more choice words for crap. Alright, me and electronics have never gotten along. Basically, some people have too much energy and they cannot wear, like my grandmother could not wear a 24-karat gold ring. Working in a jewelry shop, she could only wear 10 carats. Can you believe that? It's like, that sucks, you know what I'm saying? So me having a lot of energy typically means I have a lot of EMF, electric magnetic field, alright? So I walk in a store and the machine will either stop working or it goes havoc. It's having emotional issues. Now back in the day, my husband said, I don't know where these people get these sayings from. He looks at me very seriously and said, treat your machines like a woman. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know. I didn't do something right on the car or the truck or whatever. Treat your machines like you would a woman. Like, I just looked at him. I didn't say a word because in my mind I thought, do you think I'm gay? What's wrong with you? Why would you tell me this? How does this make any sense whatsoever? And then it took years to figure out what he was talking about. Well, some people have emotional issues, and so they have to drown their emotional issues in something because they have to numb it, they have to bury it. That's called substance abuse. So yeah, he was an alcoholic, and he was a traditional alcoholic because he would have to drink himself sober. Okay, so he was traditional. Now, coming from a man's mouth, you must treat your machines like women. So to me, if it's a car, if it's a computer, whatever, it's finicky, picky, emotional, has mood swings, and it tells you when to take a break. Okay? So, when you've got two female ionic energies, a machine, and I am a woman through and through from the day of this birth time in this birthplace called Earth. So you've got two females that are going to collide. Boom, havoc's going to happen. Who do you think is going to win? Well, me, of course, because I am stronger and more powerful than that machine that they call Al. Al is a man's name, okay? And who do you think is going to win in this war? This woman, not that man, okay? So, fact remains, your dogma norm, throw it in the garbage, because that is a man-made concept and man-made theories. Hello. Anybody home upstairs? You're hilarious, okay? So your dogma norm, you better learn how to think the opposite, baby cakes, because this is the real deal. When you learn the EMF of ionic energy, you will learn how to coagulate numbers. Yeah, coagulation in science is blood flow. Technically, it is liquid flow. Alright, what's flowing that liquid? Well, guess what? That's a residual that created ripple effects. The ripple effects are the particles of ionic energy. Hello, it's not rocket science, it's logic, alright? Now, for those that love the beginning, middle, and end of a paragraph and a sentence and a paragraph of a paper, well, there you go. Are you happy you just received your blueprint schematics? Yeah, okay. Do I sound happy? Of course not. Why is that? Because male, Greek, Hebrew, ionic energy, I am Gemini, okay? That is my day, alright? That is the sun god, Ra. And by night, his wife, Hathor, is the moon goddess, takes over. Well, lo and behold, my moon goddess, moon, sign, Sagittarius, archetype is challenged. So I will challenge your Ra, sun god, male, ionic energy. That's just who I am, and that's the way that I float. I'm a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, and these are facts. So let me tell you, after the cancer, radiation, and chemotherapy cancer treatments, third different cancer in this lifetime, yay, lucky me, right? I look up at this guy at the universe. How did I get so lucky? Seriously. Now, when they tell me you can't do this and that, you can blow that out your butt, because guess what? That's called a challenge. We'll see who wins this battle, alright? And lo and behold, they tell me that because I have lymphedema, which is, what do you call it? Damage to lymph nodes, which is lymphedema. Permanent damage. That means if I have high histamine, that just means that I cannot have foods that have histamine. Basically because my enzymes are broken, which are cell tissues, and I have to rebuild them back, so I have to take the correct nutrients. And me, always in plant-based foods for about 40 years, must be plant-based. Don't give me no crap. Man-made concepts man-made products called prescriptions. What are you trying to kill me? Nature-made. Why were plants invented? It's God's gift for healing. Nature-made. Now, one of the things I can no longer have, and it's like a go-to staple, Staples dry good. I can no longer have beans. Are you kidding me? I used to make a pot of beans every week. Holy crap, 20 different kinds of beans. Nope. No more. I had to get rid of poundage. Probably about maybe 25, 30 pounds of beans because it was assorted beans. Give it to my neighbor. And I'll give it some to my son and his family. Some to my co-workers at work. I buy the food, and then I come to find out, it ain't working. You could tell me no. I'll be like, you really? Let me prove you wrong. And I have to do it a few times. I figure out, okay, well, guess what? My body has to compensate for this particular nutritional instigation in histamine, so that means that my body retaliates. Don't give me that crap, woman. What are you thinking? So that means that my lymph nodes in my throat start building up, and then I can't breathe, I can't swallow because it's inflammation, it's itis. And with that said, my esophagus starts falling apart. It's been doing it for about a year and a half now, because it has to compensate because I cannot swallow or breathe. Then my body has to counteract to an action. So these are called the ripple effects from the residual. So I'm like, well, crap. Okay, so I'm giving away all my beans. There are only 3. The second one is pasta. I did chickpea pasta. I did all this natural pasta. Well, guess what? Chickpea has high histamine. I'm blowing up my lymphedema. Like I'm trying to kill myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, seriously? So you have to figure out a whole new kosher motif when you've received side effects from, oh boy, side effects of cancer treatments. So your body says, woman, what is wrong with you? Quit trying to give me garbage, because it is not going to work. So I have to get rid of beans. Now, I'm taking regular pasta, plant-based pasta. It don't matter. Whatever the chemical compounds that correlate through to the residuals into my enzymes, and my body says, red alert, red alert. So the red light is blinking, and my body is going havoc, blowing up enzymes in the wrong direction. And so my body has to learn to adjust, but I have to, as I always say, eat what the body needs, not what the ego wants. Health first, taste second. So that's number 2 in staple. Number 2 staple is dry goods. So no more beans and no more pasta. And my go-to all my life has always been Italian food. So guess what, folks? No more red tomatoes. It blows me up. But I can have green tomatoes, and I discovered that one day because at the farmer's market, the tomatillos were right next to broccoli or something. It was next to some other small veggie. So one of those fell in my bag, and I didn't realize it. So when I'm cooking, I'm like, oh, I could really taste the difference. It tasted pretty good. So I learned that, okay, I can have tomatillos, so I can have green tomatoes. I can't have red tomatoes. Now, I have to do more research, but from what I'm finding is that when you grow your vegetables indoors, like in a greenhouse, you are controlling another species. So like you're trying to play God, and you cannot control another species. You can work with a species, but you cannot control another species. With that, it produces high histamine. Now, when you grow it out, it's nature made, outside, where wild things are supposed to grow. You don't have higher histamine. Of course, unless you add chemical compounds to kill the bugs and the weeds and all those other goodies. But naturally, in its own environment, it will not have high histamine. But I have to do more research. And working before as a primate caretaker, you're inside. You're keeping all these chimpanzees confined in a man-made space through a man-made concept, meaning you're trying to control another species. You cannot play God, or you create havoc in another species' world, even in your own world. So quit trying to play God in your dogma, norm, man-made concepts crap. Throw that stuff in the garbage. You have to have natural. Where does natural come from? From the universe. So quit trying to play God, for Pete's sake, because you're making everybody sick. What's wrong with you? That's called emotional immaturity when you're trying to control something else. I could throw out a few names like Hitler, and you know what I'm saying, but we're not going to do that. Hint, hint. Alright? So if I throw out a hint, hint, what's that tell you? It's an abbreviation for a man that tried to control a war of the world. Seriously, what is wrong with you people? Oh, I forgot. Male ionic energy, number 3, conflict. Check out your world signs called Ayurvedic. When you go into American Medical Association, it's only been around a couple hundred years. It's baby size, for Pete's sake. Step out of the crap, dogma norm, because you're wasting my space, wasting my energy. So behave yourself and become emotionally mature in world science of 4,000 years. So that's 4,000 years of eons in, guess what, real science. Thank you very much. Now, lucky me, no more beans and no more pasta. All week I have not been able to breathe because this is the 3rd time trying pasta. So now I'm going to package it up, give it to my neighbor. It's like I have to keep getting rid of the things I love because they're killing me. When I figure out how to make my enzymes happy, regrowing my cell tissues and know I can't have mushrooms anymore. Yeah, okay. I have to figure out this whole new blueprint schematics in kosher motif, new day, new way, new me, of my laundry list of medical issues through food nutrition that will then create part of the holistic nutrition. That is the nutrition you put in your mind, nutrition you put in your body, nutrition you put in your emotion, nutrition you put in your spirit. Create the core of being. The core is the soul. The soul is the teacher to the spirit that is the student. The spirit is the teacher to the human that is the student. This creates the 4 quadrants in personality. What am I talking about? I am a guide through quantum physics and metaphysics through spirituality. It is the trilogy. Get with the program. The program is called life. And I am then showing you through study, research, experimenting on myself, through experience that create kosher motif. So you get to learn from this blueprint schematics of what I have received in this lifetime. Where do you find this in a book? You don't. This is why when I'm teaching metaphysical healing art workshops and classes, you learn a whole nother world, the total opposite of what you believe life to be because you live in dogma norm. Throw that in the garbage. I'm going to say it 1.5 million times. Guess what? Add a day to that. And then we call that infinity. There you go. Now I'm working on my postcards today. And postcards are the elements. The elements are, as many would believe, the fifth element. However, that's your world. That's not mine. In my world, I actually have done this for many lifetimes. I live in the year between 3050, universe, planet number 3, and the year of 5088. So it is universe 23, planet number 3, and the year of 3050. You can find it. I try to bring it down because everybody says that what I speak about, bring it down. Okay, so what is the easiest way to do that? A children's book. You can find my children's book, Fracmacology 501. 5 in, capital N, 5 in 1 on Amazon. So as I'm doing the postcards, then I will bring it into book format. Because it'll have pretty pictures, because people love pictures. Because they walk in caves and pyramids and have to look at the pictographs, and that's called pictures. Through symbologies and metaphors, alright? So, when you're understanding the way that I speak, I'm speaking through the year of 3050, okay? I don't do 5D, fifth dimension. I do multi-dimensions and multiverses, a much higher level of understanding. Now, when you put it all together, it's basically the blueprint schematics of numbers. Numbers like, your moon goddess has 8 phases, and those are all moods, okay? This is Ms., not Miss, not Mrs., Ms. Independent, Ms. Moon. Yeah, I got it. Even though she's married, she is Ms. Independent. Hey. Rerunning the house. Okay, so when you understand the moon phases, it runs through life force energy that correlates to the EMF of the emotion of the human being, and that's how you get dogma norm, Freudian theory of the 8 levels of emotions. When you get to the 8, then you affirm, and this is acceptance. And then when you go through other levels of 8, through many cultures, many astrology signs, many of this, many of that. There is so much of the blueprint schematics the human species has yet learned how to conquer. Now, you start learning about this when you actually reach the year of 3050. All right? Now, guess what, folks? It's time to take a drink because your body is becoming deactivated and liquid, and you're becoming what they call dehydrated. I tell you, that tea is scrumptious. My tea contains, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ingredients with my tea. Yeah, so these are chemical compounds that your body needs through plant-based that I add to my morning tea every morning. I am what you'd call a holistic nutritionist, a professional. And then it helps my enzymes through the ripple effects and the residuals correlating to my EMFs, and that's how that works. And so when you want to learn something, as many people are learning that when you speak to me, you're going to learn something new every day. Why? Because it's things that I am going through each and every day. Because every day I cleanse my body, emotion, spirit every 24 hours. So every day is new day, new way, new me. That's how it works. So yesterday was yesteryear. And that means that what you did yesterday don't count. There's no such a thing as yesterday or tomorrow. It's only today that counts. And it counts through the residual of the ripple effects, through the life force energy of EMFs, in your vibrational vibration of rhythmic rhythms. I mean, the list goes on and on of how it is you correlate with yourself. Pretty simple. Through your own ionic energy of negative and positive ions. Okay? So, as I'm doing these postcards, because that's what the sermon session is about, it's not just the 5 elements. There are so many more humans have yet to discover, which I have already conquered. You see? And that's because God, the higher up, I call it the universe, keeps sending me back to conquer this stuff, to guide humans through spiritual healing, spiritual teaching, spiritual counseling of how to do this. And this is why workshops and classes are very important in order to elevate self, so that when the year of 3050 comes, you are prepared. And then when the year 5088 happens, there'd be a big shift in the year of 3050. In the year of 5088 is when, between the two lifetimes, 3050 and 5088, the Earth will have much expansion and contraction. And everything in life, there is a time limit. So, the time limit for Earth comes in the year of 5088. All of a sudden, it does its last expansion, and then it becomes meteorites. Guess what? It is merely particles that contain life force energy. Now, you as a human are bipedal molecules. So when the last expansion happens in the year 5088, guess what? It will contain the molecules of light. It goes to another planet, and that planet has water. Boof. It's magic. Life begins again, just like it did on this planet. Because everything expands and contracts. That's, expansion and contraction, positive and negative ionic energy, and that's how you get things like yin and yang, okay? So when you're doing expansion and contraction, which is the dominant and which is the subordinate, doesn't mean that the male ionic energy is the dominant. It depends upon which in the 24 hours of existence you reside. And, you go through, I can't think of his name, the guy that invented the calendar that we, play residual and havoc in, whatever that Greek god is. God, sometimes you got an overload in the brain, so you can't remember everything, even though I try. It's like being a supercomputer. And who needs an ow? Please. You're a male. Step aside. I got things to do. Places to go, people to see. Sorry, folks, but, I'm female through and through. My son, it's funny, things that fall out of a child's mouth, no matter how old they are, they're still your child, okay? You brought them in the world, and guess what? You can take them out, or you can cut them off, whatever the deal be, all right? One day, my son tells me, Mom, you're a feminist, but you're not gay. Okay, I've had 20 marriage proposals, and I've been married 3 times, 3 divorces, and 3 cancers. What's that tell you? We don't need to be floating in that world anymore. It's just going to bring sickness, illness, disease. So marriage, that's like never in this lifetime again. Maybe in the next one. Well, let's just say the man that is meant to be in my life won't come until I'm 72. I've known this since my 20s, you know what I mean? Right now I'm 61. I got things to do, places to go, people to see, because I got things to conquer. So, no males in this world except my son and George, single dad, and his family. Okay. And if you knew the story of George, you'd find that very hilarious, okay? Just like Mr. Green needed a wheelchair. The hilarity just keeps flowing. Because I found that happy gene. It's in your DNA, okay? When you know how to activate it, life becomes extremely hilarious. I think that it actually hits, you find that and discover it when you're about age 60. Because at age 50, you just don't give a flying fig anymore. Trust me, I had other choice words, but I changed it to flying fig. It's the FF bomb. Don't you love acronyms? Yeah, remember, in a court of law, stenographers have their own acronyms. You have to go to school to learn how to read those acronyms. It's the same when you become like an Egyptologist. You have to learn to read the acronyms. That's what life's all about, is acronyms. So when you step into my world, you will learn a whole boatload of acronyms. Did you know in the world of psychology, as a professional, they actually have their own dictionary? And I have that dictionary. Yeah, because when I was in my 30s, I had to go for disability, and you get retrained when you have physical accidents. So the unemployment office is going to send me, while I'm on disability, through retraining. And they said, what do you want to be? And I said, a psychologist. And they go, oh, they only make $5 an hour. Why not a wedding planner? Because people always see me and they think pretty, bling, bling. I looked at that lady and thought, are you off your mental rocker? What is wrong with you? A wedding planner? Pfft, something wrong with your brain, woman. So I ended up going to a class, Women in Construction. That lasted about a month because I'm like, oh, what are you, crazy? I'm not working outside. And then I ended up becoming a professional landscaper of 30 years. Isn't that funny how things flow? So let's see, I'm 61, so I've been wanting to be a psychologist for 30 years. So I have a bunch of psychology books. I have the test I don't remember if it's called CLEP, C-L-E-P, or whatever test you take, so they can see what level you're on, so that when you go to college, they can tell you, okay, well, you're good, you don't need to take that class, but you need to take this class, so you can get your degree. And so some schools take into effect your experience, and if you already have college degrees. Now, the thing is that when you get into the medical field, you don't just get a degree. You also have to go to become, it's a hard word, to work in a clinic, you must be a clinician. It's a hard word. My brain is not fluctuating in that particular word at the moment. Like a dietitian, but you're working in a clinic. So you get around clinic with like dietitian, a clinician or something, right? So you have to actually do clinical lab hours. You have to do a certain amount of hours. I don't know if it's like 400 hours or 500 hours. Anyways, I haven't looked at that stuff in years. But that's where I'll be going after I retire. I'll be going back to school because that was what I was meant to do, is psychology. Because I want a degree in parapsychology. So it will correlate with the tangible college in psychology with the intangible college degree in metaphysics. So this way I live in best of both worlds. So when people come to me, I can then say, okay, with my years of experience in past lives, I brought forth creates the knowledge in this life. And then with man-made concepts, dogma, norm, through secular education called government education, I can then show the tangible. You see? So you're teaching through guiding the intangible and tangible in order to help the person so that they can learn to help themselves. That's guiding. Spiritual healing, spiritual teaching, spiritual counseling. So when you do this, then you can pull from the ethers, time, space, mass, matter is the infinity of infinite self, and of course that's my book. And when you pull through the ethers, that is a space, and according to man-made concepts, that is 5D, fifth dimension. That is what you find in the spaces between the residual. That is the EMF, that is the life force energy. Has to go through the portals that's in the space to go from 3D to 5D, okay? So the space is 4D, fourth dimension. That's how it works. So I actually see all this stuff. I don't need a machine. I actually see how it works. I've been doing this all my life because I brought the knowledge from past life. So then I'll just turn around and I'll sketch, and then I'll paint it. And then it becomes, the elements, and then it becomes this and that and this and that. And so you can look at it. I can draw a chair upside down. When I turn it right side up, it just looks normal, like as if it was a regular chair. And that's how that works, because you have to learn to understand, not just see the opposite, but understand how the opposites work. And then your life will change into who you were meant to be. And that's why I'm a doctor, alternative doctor, to show you how to find yourself through the opposite. And trust me, it's many years of study, research, experiment, and experience in order to be able to do this, so that you're building in order to understand exactly how something actually works. Now, when you have man-made concepts in Dogma Norm, you step into a lab and you have to play with the Richter set, and the human five senses of how to actually, dissect a frog and how the body parts work. When I can automatically tell you, because I could show you, because I can draw it. It's not hard. It's really easy peasy, piece of cake. And I can draw it, and I can show you exactly what this means. And so that's why I'm doing the postcards, so everyone can understand this is how EMF ionic energy works through the portals. And so then you can learn multi-dimensions, multiverses through my workshops and classes. And pretty easy stuff. So from now on, the best thing to do is learn what is the opposite? And if you tried the opposite, what could actually happen? Like me, I challenged, so now I've done it 3 times in a row. No more pasta. It is a legit saying when a professional tells you it has histamine and you're histamine intolerant, guess what? On this particular instance, I give you kudos and I give you 2 thumbs up. You were correct. Don't give me garbage if you just read it from a book. Throw that in the fire, and the fire element is the spirit. Because you have mind, body, emotion, spirit. So you can throw it in the fire because it's garbage in my world, alright? I have to prove you wrong. And when I find 3 is not a charm in my book, and people know that now. 3 is a charm, but not in your book. Exactly, not in my book. So, when it comes up, because that's just trilogy, when it comes up for the 3rd time, alright, now I'm listening. Before that, it's falling upon deaf ears. You have to prove to me in 3 different ways why something works and doesn't work. Otherwise, you have not hit the spectrum of the left and the right hemisphere of the human brain, which is 3D 3rd dimension, and you travel through the portals to 5D 5th dimension into the human mind. If you cannot coagulate that EMF, guess what? You're not floating in my world. Comprende, mijo? Comprende, mijo? Alright. Glad we're getting a little bit more understanding of what you were not prepared to hear, but your subconscious is totally regulating and like it's screaming at you. Yeah, you go, sister. Yeah, because that's the way it works. Okay. Trilogy is a friend or a foe. Live it, love it. Live it, learn it, love it. Trilogy of the L acronym. So when I say Trilogy L, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. It's all about the numbers. Alright? Now, when you're looking at the 8 phases of the human emotion, the 8 phases of the moon, remember, in Western, Greek, Hebrew numerology, number 8 is abundance. You're getting abundance of emotion, not abundance of financial wealth, okay? You have to understand for every single word, what are you feeding? You putting food, nutrition in your mind, food, nutrition in your emotion, food, nutrition in your body, food, nutrition in your spirit. This is food, nutrition, EMF, life force energy. It's not rocket science, it's logic. Get with the program. The program is called Life. Life is logic when you learn how to think, act, hear, taste, touch, smell, feel the opposite. Well, miracles never cease. And as my mother used to say when I speak to her, it's like bubbles going off in the head. Bing, 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 bing. Kind of like, I love that game, pinball. Okay. And life is love. Love is life. Blessings from Reverend Dr. Juanita Lewis, D.Div, Ph.D. And thank you for your support.